I'm so used to giving scientific talks, and I would like to thank Karishma actually, because according to the template that she provided, and when I put things together, I saw my life as a kaleidoscope of colorful pictures, and a lot of emotions came back when I put everything together that I've really never done before. So thank you, Karishma, for that. And as far as my own journey is concerned, I think just to begin is that I work at Central Drug Research Institute, the institute that you see on the lower side of the slide. It's a sprawling, big institute, one of its kind. Poonam has visited it, I know that. And one of its kind because drug discovery is done over here from inception till the preclinical level, till we hold industry partners and go forward. But there's a very big but before I came over here, and I think that but I will try and have a word with you is this, that how did I come over here? So it's been a journey, as I said, a colorful journey, but a very, I don't know how to put it, maybe let it come as it is and you decide for yourself that how it was. So I did my master's in organic chemistry. And the first slide that you see over here and the second slide over here, these were the only girls that were present in the chemistry, this thing, and in organic chemistry we had only 2 girls and all boys over there. And I was free-spirited, very confident at that time, and I was a member of a Haley's club in the university, and I thought that the world is on my stride. And being a secretary of this club, I thought no bigger position can help me survive in the world now. I have the biggest position of that anybody can think. And I participated in a lot of plays, debates and everything, but none of this was known to my parents that I do at college, until and unless one day I went to them and I told them that I wanted to go to IIT Kharagpur, because IIT Kharagpur was organizing a fest and I was supposed to represent over there. And that is when ground reality came over me. They said, पढ़ाई करने के लिए भेजा है, हाथ पैर तोड़ देंगे अगर इधर उधर कहीं देखा तो. And then I realized this secretary position is no good for me. I mean, I have to begin right from the beginning again. So I finished my master's that you can see from Lucknow University that I've put over here. And then, I mean, this is the only slide that I'll take time because everything was happening during this time in my life. And then all the boys with me in the masters decided to go for joining industry, because with organic chemistry as your background, it was very, very easy to find industries, and my parents wouldn't allow me to go. They said, whatever you have to do, do it in Lucknow. What to do? So I started again studying, left my secretaryship, and decided that I'll appear for my exams here and there. And SDPGIMS conducts PhD examination, and I appeared for, there's a 3-level examination that you appear for, but with organic chemistry as my background, I had confidently applied in SDPGI, not knowing how it is going to come to me. So when it says that apply for subjects, I thought jahan jahan organic chemistry lagta hai, sab apply kar do. So I applied for nuclear medicine, radiology, endocrinology. I thought all my hormone knowledge that I have, nobody has more than that. And I applied in all those things. So when I qualified the first paper, second paper, and I went for an interview, the faculty from endocrinology got interested, and they offered that they'll be happy to have me in SDPGI, and it was, the world was again on my stride, and I thought that I could do wonders when I joined SDPGI in the endocrinology department. But you know, this jumping of fields, as much as it looks easy over here, it becomes very difficult, because in organic chemistry, I was so used to working in volumes. Matlab liters se niche, we never thought about it. Picric acid, liters. Salicylic acid, liters. And all of a sudden, it is microliters. To be able to be imagining that what that 0.5 microliter will do in a reaction, that concept coming into your mind took me so much of time that itne se kya hoga? What reaction will happen with 0.5 microliters? Second, I had come from organic chemistry. I knew everything about hormones and all, the structures and all, but I had to learn endocrinology over here. Not only endocrinology, the language was clinical endocrinology. So, you know, that was a very difficult time for me, but I was trying to do things in that, but at that time, my parents had actually thought of me कि ये थोड़ा बागी types है, it is difficult to this thing, they married me off. And I got married during my PhD. You see the third slide over here? I have two attachment files with me while I was doing my PhD. One attachment, my husband sitting next to me, and my daughter Ira came with a not so good news. I wish Ira doesn't hear this. When I came to know that I was expecting Ira, I was very sad. And I thought that this is an end of life for me. A big failure, I'll not be able to do anything in my life. And I was struggling to do things. The atmosphere in the lab, all of a sudden changes. I don't know if many of you are married or doing your postdocs with this. You'll realize that all of a sudden there is polarization in the lab. The others think that her priorities are different. They are going for teas and everything, and they exclude me. In the evenings, I have time foundation of running to the home. So I am left all alone struggling with two more attachment files in my life to take it forward. And then, while I was doing my PhD over here, while I was ending my PhD at SGPGI, my husband got a visiting scientist offer from University of Maryland. And I thought this is the best time to attach myself to him. Otherwise, I will never be able to go and never be able to do anything in my life. I said, I'll come along with you. And I took Ira with me, and I went on a J1 visa, I went with him. Applied for a work permit later on when I was there. And then, because I had to be somewhere near him, because Ira was there with me, I was looking for positions somewhere near where he was working in Maryland. So applied for many positions at NIH that was like 40 miles from Greenfield where I was staying, and appeared for interviews. The first interview that I appeared for at NIH in Building 10, they offered, they are very upfront, most of you are from outside also, you know, they said they were happy with what I had done, and I had a shaken confidence because when I was parting from SGPGI, the farewell party that we had, my supervisor said that, Ritu, sincerity will take you a long way. And I thought, this is the worst kind of compliment a guide can give to a student. This is what I have. I mean, only sincerity is what I have in me. Obviously, I couldn't say anything to him. I kept that word to myself. So when I reached SGPGI, I thought the Building 10 offer that I got, I told, he said that you are welcome to this lab, but we work round the clock. So you might have to stay in the lab at night also. And I thought, not possible for me. Ira is there. I have to figure out how do I do it. So I thought, let my sincerity come back, and I said that, sorry, I will not be able to continue with this postdoc. I'll not take this offer. I applied again, and I got an offer from Building 6, this time from NIH. I appeared for their presentation and everything, and this time I negotiated right at the beginning. The moment he told me that he gives me an offer for this position, I told him that I will work round the clock till I'm here in the lab, but I will leave in the evening because I have to pick up my daughter from the daycare. And he agreed. But the supervisor was a Russian American, and his name is Slava Tomarev. And when I joined him, it was known on the floor that Slava's postdocs are slaves. And it was so true, because his eye movements, his gestures, his this thing, he didn't like somebody check their mail or something. He would come 10 times to warm up his coffee in the office that we sat, that how come you are sitting kind of a thing. So it was a difficult postdoc, but I continued over there. And but I'll say some good things about Slava also. But towards the end, Prabodh had to come back to India because his 2 years this thing was finishing. And Slava said that Ritu, you might want to stay back because you still have a year to spend as a postdoc here. And I was like, with Slava, with Ira, all alone in US, how do I do it? Because sometimes when a child falls sick or something, it becomes all the more difficult. And it's for the child to be happy and to be in harmony with the daycares that are in the West, with the children of other kinds, then it's difficult for the child also. So I thought I'd leave everything, go back to India. I took the highest risk of my life. I didn't know anything. All the papers were all in the process of coming up because I had done so much of work. But remember, the moment you leave, everything just goes out of your hand. You are an author there, but you're not the first author all of a sudden because a lot of experiments are required, this. And for how long do you negotiate for things? As it is, I didn't stay back. So on very high risk, this thing, you can see the 3 slaves of Slava in the end. One is a Spanish postdoc just next to me, and one is from Bangladesh, Farid, who was there. 3 of us were there with Slava. So I came back from US to India without anything, just without anything. And the question is, what next? Like many of you, what next? What do I do? So I was looking for positions, I was thinking I'll apply everywhere, and when I was hearing in the crowd, should I apply when basic science positions are, please apply everywhere where you are applicable. Just don't go about what is around the world, what people are saying. If you are applicable and if you qualify the position of a prime ministership, apply. As simple as that. Apply to any positions that come by your way and just wait what happens. So my position at CDRI happened with one of the meetings like this. Obviously, India Bioscience was not there. The position was advertised in 2003, I think, as soon as I had come back. And I applied for this position. And then I was looking for what is happening in CDRI so that I come to know about the feel of the work that they are doing. And in one of the meetings, somebody introduced me, I think I was telling the story to someone, Dr. Rama Vaidya is there, who's a gynecologist, and I was asking her some questions about her presentation or something, and she introduced me to a guy and said, CM, dekho, she's looking for a postdoc, hire her, she's a good candidate for a postdoc. And he said that, have you applied? I said, yes, I've applied for the position. He said, November mein interview hoga. I thought, my God, this guy knows everything. Ki position ka interview kab hoga, he's telling me. So I came back, I told Prabodh that I want an internet connection and everything, and I opened up the CDRI site, and I see that I was talking to the director of the institute, of whom I didn't know. C.N. Gupta was this director of the institute. By that time, I had my second child, and I had forgotten all my science whatsoever. So I decided that I'll come back, and this position is meant for me, although the word was all around that position was fixed for somebody else. But I went for it, fought for it, got that position, although the lowest in the ladder. You remember, I had come back after a postdoc, I didn't negotiate. My husband was all holy-glory for that position. He said, this is the best position you have got. You will not get anything better than this. And I thought, okay, let me join it and I'll see what I can do about this position. This is how I got a position at CDRI in the endocrinology department. The circle came back. I was back in endocrinology. My developmental biology knowledge, I thought, what will I do of it? Because a lot of work in the endocrinology department was done on reproductive biology at that time. And so a lot of histology, sections, and the Senchroman drug had come out, which is a non-contraceptive drug by the name of Saheli. You must all be knowing also. It is in the ministry, with the Ministry of Family and Women and Family Healthcare, and it's in the market by the name Saheli. So this department was very famous for doing a lot of histology work. Everywhere where I went around, it was, you could see bottles of hematoxylene, xylene, this, that, all around. And the CMG had just started a wanted bone biology thing to be started. So my endocrinology in SGPGI just came back. I knew how to, I had prior knowledge of a lot of things in endocrinology, in biology, by just being in this department and doing my PhD over here. As far as questions were put that what happened to the funding and all, at that time, CDRI got a very big fund from Ministry of Health, so much so that it took care of salaries of a lot of people also. So when we were doing women-centric drugs, women-centric work projects, Ministry of Health supported so much for this. So initial start was not very difficult, so as to say, but no lab space. There was a table and chair under the pillar, and you could be just happy with that for some time. And there are a lot of stories of how I just went around creating all that, but maybe I'll not be able to finish in 25 minutes, maybe some other time. I started molecular biology, so my developmental biology, a lot of my expertise and my knowledge, I thought that I'll all put it together and work over here, create a space for bone biology over here, since it was newly introduced. As far as funding is concerned, I told you yesterday also, now that I sit in some of the committees that fund projects like Aspire and others, I know that if you don't have your own papers or something, it is a little bit of a no-no, because the applications are so many, and yes, applications a lot. So my first funding, my first project went with the head of the department, because his credit history was obviously better than mine, and I became a co-PI in that project, but that was the only time that I became a co-PI in my initial years. And then I decided that I'll use this as my credit history and move forward. So this is how I went in, this is how I looked when I was in CDRI. And next, just wanted to tell you that how I have developed and what I have done in CDRI. The middle picture is it like over? Okay. So I worked on postmenopausal osteoporosis. I began with postmenopausal osteoporosis. I've expanded a lot on postmenopausal osteoporosis, but I work around bone health. I have created spaces like I do bone-specific delivery systems in collaboration. I work on bone-muscle interactions, obesity-induced bone loss in a big way, growth plate mechanisms. I do lactational physiology, but remember, and osteoarthritis, but all this comes when you are looking for novel targets for bone or a joint health. This is the underlying this thing. I just expand around and around bone health. What have I done in 2-3 slides? Not explaining to you a lot of science, just giving you a glimpse of what I have done. This is the theory behind it, just for awareness of all of you. Bone is made of 2 kinds of cells, the osteoblast and the osteoclast. Osteoblast make cells, osteoclast eat away bones. So when we age or when we enter menopause, it's the osteoclast that are more active than the osteoblast, and your bone is eaten away because of no estrogen in your body and with aging. So we target the osteoblast cells that form a lot of bone. We're looking for Indian-centric drug that would be scientifically validated. A lot of no's and no-go's for how to take the drug forward. Not very important for all of you. Highlight of, we found a novel molecule in Dilbergia, Sisu. I collaborated with a medicinal chemist. I'll show you a picture of him. My chemistry comes into picture now. This novel molecule allowed me to file a patent, a product patent that is granted in US and in India as of now. We've worked around a lot around this molecule CAFG. We've shown how it helps bone regenerate in fracture healing effects. These are calcine labelings, and the outcomes I'll not explain just now. We've worked around the mechanism of how it works, because once you want to take a drug into the market without the mechanism, it does not work. We work all around the osteoblast and the osteoblast cell to show that how it functions, how it can increase bone mass. If you go and look at my profile, you'll see lots and lots of papers around this. None of them I'm showing you just now. We could bring this in the market by the name Reunion. If you will go to Amazon, you'll find it there. We did 2 clinical trials with the company, Farmenza, and 1 fracture healing trial and 1 postmenopausal trial, after which it's in the market, and IISER is marketing it at the moment, and it's in the market. Granted in Europe and this thing. So finally, I could do justice to the institute in which I work. I have been able to bring a drug when I'm alive, and I can see it with my own eyes that it is there in the market. Okay. There's a we've also gone ahead and we've licensed an agreement with Evita Biomix in the US, and we want to bring it for poor bone health and osteoporosis in particular for people who are in US. So this work is still going on with Evita. I've made a documentary of all of this and put on YouTube so that I can remember for myself. It's a bad documentary because I've gone all around doing it with a mobile, and you are such tech-savvy persons, I'm sure, but I've done it so that it is a remembrance for me and the people with whom I've collaborated. Second, while this was happening, while this agreement was being signed, 5 minutes? Okay, I'll skip the story. Another subject that I work on is osteoarthritis, but this, nothing, you don't have to read all of this. Osteoarthritis is becoming very, very prevalent in India, and there is no therapy as of now. The only therapy is the pharmacological, where you take pain, this thing. I worked in this area, there was an overlap story, maybe later on I'll tell you. And Dr. Moria, I again collaborated. We've created a lot of models around it, chemically induced models, human mimic models, and this is how your knee joint looks from inside. I was amazed to see the architecture and the ability of our joints to bear 10 to 15 times the weight that we have to be able to. So when you have osteoarthritis, you have even crossed those limits. I worked in this area, we do a lot of behavioral experiments, and I have joined fresh, but this is again with Farmenza, a very interesting story. Maybe I'll tell you later on how it came into picture. It's in the market by the name, but it's in the nutraceutical category for osteoarthritis, and a vegetarian version of it is by the name Ontos, which has come in 2020 just now. We have patents granted. This is 2018. When the press covers you, you feel happy, you feel validated that something has happened around. This is Dr. Moria in the first picture, just sitting next to me. I'm really, really thankful to him that he collaborated with me. I owe a lot to him of a very good collaboration that existed between us. And I ride on the shoulders of so many people with whom I have worked, otherwise I wouldn't be standing over here and speaking just now. Okay, and the right picture shows Farmenza. Dr. Hingorani is there, and Aryan Bardats. These are pictures of technology getting transferred and things like that, and all the students who helped me do these studies. Okay, it was covered by Lay Press, as I said. Down to Earth also covered our story of what we've done in the lab. And I never put this picture, but Karishma, you put a template, that is why I put this picture. But it does feel good when you get awards here and there. I got Tata Innovation Award. I have been put as 75 under 50. And it looks nice. But amongst all the awards, the best was the last one, when my school called me as a chief guest. And I think that is the biggest award that I got as compared to many other awards that I have got. Okay. This thing. I say this line, when passion has purpose. I'm sure when I was of your age, I would not be able to say that, because it's so much of struggle at that time. Kahan to passion, kahan to kya, you don't recall all that. But now I say, this is a letter from a 76-year-old person. When he saw our news in the newspaper, he wrote back to me, and there's one line that took my heart, "Aapki mujh par daya hogi." And then I realized the kind of work that we do can make so much of a difference. It touches people's heart. And I scan this letter and I keep it with me forever, that this orients me to do the right kind of work in science. Okay. As when you grow senior, we were talking, I wear a lot of caps now. I'm the head of the academic affairs unit, the process of taking students and everything. But besides besides that, the curriculum that exists, I also do a lot of work with them where they have an area where they plant trees, and with their self-named plates of the tree and the plant, and they adopt it for 5 years and they have to put it in their thesis as it grows. I look after the crèche, this thing, Gulmohar is a name given by me, and the crèche at CDRI functions because I don't want how I suffered on the roads all the time. I don't want other women to suffer like that. So I really do it with my heart in spite of all the pressure that comes. Okay, last, I think. Yeah, it's last. Okay, I do a lot of social work, this thing, I think all of us do. I go to tribal areas and all, spreading a word about menstrual hygiene, etc., etc. I do all of these things also. And my Haley's Day have come back. What I wrote earlier, I used to write a lot. I did somehow poetry, something. That has all come back now, and I have started doing it because I'm more stabilized. Ye sab tabhi hota hai when you are more stable and everything. Otherwise, it doesn't come. Okay. Our science should matter. This is what I learned. We shouldn't become prisoners of impact factor. We can make a difference with whatever we do, a little bit, and it matters. Never lose collaborators, good collaborators. I do projects, I don't do projects with them, but they are my collaborators for life. Last part, this is for the girls, and I'll wrap up. You see, on the x-axis, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, this is the age. The red bar is for the men, and the blue bar is for the women. Now you go down and see from 30 to 50 years, and this is for women across the world. This is not for women in India, this is for women across the world. So don't get depressed if you are somewhere here. The mantra is hang on. If you will hang on, you see the graph later on, as a blue this thing, it will come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Trivedi. We'll have only one question.
Can you tell us the story of, like, how did you do the commercialization part of your drug which you had found, and were there any hurdles? Was it easy?
Yeah. Difficult and easy both, I'll tell you what. There was a paper published by us in Menopause for the work that we had done. And this company saw this paper in public domain. And they wrote back to CDRI, and later on he tells me that CDRI never replied back. He called, nobody picked up the phone, kind of a thing, he tells me. And then probably he was passionate enough or something, he came to CDRI. He's an IITian guy who has opened up his company. It's in Gujarat at the moment. And that is how we met for commercialization. And difficult part was that sometimes I don't know, there is a, if I have done all the work, I know how I have done it. But when serious negotiations are going on, they think that I'm not required. So this is where I had to make, somebody gave me a word, subtle feminism. So I think I had to do a little bit of that I'm there, I have done it, I will be, because you learn a lot when you join hands with an industry as compared to others in your own district, because their thought process is totally different of how taking it for commercialization. So that, and now we, both of us, they as a company, and we are doing a lot of projects also together, irrespective of what has gone in the market and not gone in the market. So it's just a question of this thing, and your data should be trustworthy enough that they can trust on you that, okay, things can work. So I have a very big Nimitli grant with them. It's a 3 crore grant that I have with them. It's a collaborative grant with industry also on something other than this.